making their 7th appearance at the World Cup, qualified back in 94, 98, 2006, 2018, 2022, and of course this year, 2026. They'll open up World Cup play on June the 15th against La Celeste in Miami at Hard Rock Stadium. That match at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. They're led by their goalkeeper, Alois, 34 years young, and made 5 stops in their win against the side now coached by Lionel Scaloni. Scaloni coaching now his 2nd straight World Cup. Probably will be the last for Messi. We keep saying that, but he's still playing. Going to turn 39 on June the 24th, the same as one Roger Valdivieso. So the thing now with a lot of international players, a lot of older players playing longer. Ronaldo, 41 years of age, going to be playing at the World Cup. He'll be playing, of course, in Miami, the same stadium that will host the next Saudi match as far as their first World Cup game of this go-around. And then that stadium, Hard Rock Stadium, will host the Colombia-Portugal match. The pass out wide. Bouchard very active so far. Goes off of Felix Torres. Kept it, but not a good touch. Oh, and Ecuador dodges the bullet. The sitter inside the box, Saudi Arabia, could have opened the scoring. Lazy pass at the back. Lazy clearance also. And Mohamed Kano with the first chance for the Arabian Falcons. Here's one more look. Not sure what Valencia was doing there. And he allowed the cross near the center, near the 6. And nonetheless, Kano cannot play it on target. Sent out by Ramirez. Not the best with his feet. And an ugly pass to start from the back line of the 3. They look a little bit nervous. A number of new faces in the starting 11. Jackson Porozo, the man with who plays for Xolos of Tijuana. Spent time with Boa Vista in Portugal between 2020 and 2022. And I'm getting the start tonight. Porozo, great size though. 6 feet 5 inches tall. Would be a valuable asset. Of course, today, La Tri playing without Hincapié and William Pacho, that played in the Champions League final in Budapest. The through pass, the shot on target. Oh, almost got that low corner. Almost got the lower corner. Pass Ramirez. A good build-up by the Arabian Falcons. And they miss a golden opportunity. Here's one more look. The pass of death by Aldozari. And Al-Shamat unable to get it past Ramirez. So Abu Al-Shamat would like to have that one back. Special thanks to some of our viewers around the world. One of them, Paulina de los Santos, big fan of Chivas of Guadalajara, checking this one out from St. Petersburg, Florida. Another colleague in the Florida area. Yvonne Willis, a big fan of the Colombian national team and checking out Ecuador against Saudi Arabia. Still no score in this one. The Ecuadorians with the number of new players in the starting 11. Played all the way back for Moises Ramirez. Ramirez, another bad pass coming out of the back. Ramirez, of course, a factor. And coming out of the soccer factor that is Independiente del Valle. Los Negri Azules currently clinching around a 16 berth in this year's Copa Libertadores. They won the Sudamericana back in 2022 and look to make a deep run after this World Cup. They'll be playing in the knockout round. They also captured, of course, the 2019 Sudamericana. So many great players from Ecuador playing for them before joining La Tri. Gonzalo Plata, Moises Caicedo. Caicedo also on the bench tonight, but not among the starting 11. And here the Ecuadorians in attendance. Felix Torres, the former Corinthians man, all the way back from Moises Ramirez. Saudi Arabia applying the pressure. And it will be a throw-in for La 3, the side led by Sebastian Vecasese. Vecasese, just 45 years of age, one of the younger coaches that will be at this World Cup. Purvis Estupiñán made a name for himself during the 2022 World Cup qualifiers. Sent in long by Estupiñán. Jordi Caicedo, the Huracan man of the Liga Argentina, finished in second place during the Argentine First Division with 8 goals in 16 matches. Caicedo, of course, Jordi Caicedo, formerly of the Mexican First Division with Atlas, sent long by Estupiñán. Good ball control. Chased down by Anthony Valencia, but the foul given. The referee, born in Quebec, just 40 years of age, Pierre-Luc Louzet. Lauzier. Set inside the box. Nilson Angulo. Taken by the back line of the Saudis. Ecuador, 3/4 pressure. Looking to see if they can pounce on any mistake by Saudi Arabia. Yeah, an erratic start by Ecuador. Moises Ramirez, a good goalkeeper, but a lot of the times just not the best with his feet coming out of the back. Makes a lot of big saves, but that's why he doesn't start for La 3. Either way, here come the Saudis. Attacking down the flank. Chased down by Jose Hurtado. Sent inside the box. Played out by Jackson Porozo. Chased down. Bouchard. Alamri. Altambukti. Alois, we talked about his experience at the last World Cup, 34 years of age. Chased down by Estupiñán. Bouchard, able to get around Nilson Angulo. Nice touch by Al-Shamat. Al-Jouer. Taken away from Breakan. One more time, Breakan. And sent long by Jose Hurtado. Nilson Angulo had a strong showing in the victory during World Cup qualifying by La 3 over La Albiceleste. Of course, in that one, Ener Valencia getting the goal for the side led by Vecasese. Nilson Angulo loves to be in the spot, his sweet spot on the field, but taken away clearly by the Arabian Falcons. Chased down by Yeboah. An errant pass, read by La 3. The first shot on target. Not enough power by Valencia. A true baby toddler shot. Not enough pace on that one. Here's one more look. Good read by the Ecuadorians. The back heel by Darwin Wawa, the pass. And the man who plays in Belgium, Valencia, not enough power. And an easy one, routine stop for Alois. Played forward by Saudi Arabia. Not the best of clearances. Estupiñán. Felix Torres all the way back for Ramirez. Yeah, Ramirez had that giant save against Luis Diaz in World Cup qualifying late in the second half against Colombia. And Ramirez was able to deny a man that the world is afraid of right now. Luis Diaz scoring a lot of goals for Bayern Munich. Had a goal, of course, at in the Champions League quarterfinals. That was a factor knocking out Real Madrid. Had a goal in both legs, did the Colombian Luis Diaz, and Ramirez was a worthy adversary that day in Quito, blocking the PK of Luis Diaz, the man from La Guajira. Sent long by Felix Torres. Chased down by Caicedo. Nilson Angulo. Pass intended for Jordi Caicedo. Good read by the back line. Al-Amri plays it forward. Al-Dosari, the short touch. Al-Kabari. Al-Amri. Mohamed Al-Owais. Crowd looking to lift Lafri, the majority of them in yellow. Taken by Angulo. Ecuador looking to force any errant pass by the back line of Saudi Arabia. Stupinyan, Nilson Angulo. Felix Torres. Spent some time in Liga MX. And that's where Jackson Porozo plays right now. So much size by a lot of the Ecuadorian defenders. William Pacho, 6'3". Jackson Porozo just made that pass, 6'5". So going to be a factor for those in the World Cup when you have the South American teams. Sometimes they're not always the tallest. And of course, Ecuador will finish against the European side in Germany. John Yeboah. Yeboah cuts it inside. Good hit, but a bit too tall. Great idea by the Valencia man. Had a huge goal in the 1-1 draw against Morocco and tried his luck from distance. Let's take one more look. He had eyes for goal, tried to get that back corner. The view from behind, try to get it in the upper V. It looks like Al-Owais had a good beat on it nonetheless, but nonetheless the opportunity from John Yeboah had a big assist also. And what ended up going to penalties, the Copa America quarterfinal match between La Tri and La Albiceleste. Yeboah getting the assist in Ecuador's last-minute tie, in Ecuador's last-minute draw that resulted in a goal by La Rola Rodriguez. Kevin Rodriguez, of course, on the bench. Plays in Belgium, as a couple of these Ecuadorians do. So does Nilson Angulo. But yeah, the number 9, John Yeboah, having that assist against Kevin Rodriguez and that equalizing goal against La Albiceleste. But ultimately, Argentina advanced to the semis and ended up winning that Copa America, but they knocked out Ecuador 4-2 on PKs in that match that was played in Houston. Near the top of the box. Short pass for Al-Amri. Chased down by Wawa. All the way back for Al-Owais. Taken by Abul Shamat. The back heel, but a better read by Jose Hurtado, the Bragantino man. Red Bull Bragantino had the victory against Carabobo midweek and earned a berth in the round of 16 of the Sudamericana. Earned a berth, rather, in the playoff of the Sudamericana. They're going to be playing against the third-place side from the Libertadores, and that will be after the World Cup. But Red Bull Bragantino, of course, reaching the final of the 2021 Sudamericana, and that's where Jose Hurtado plays, and Hurtado played in World Cup qualifying, played in the match against Argentina in Buenos Aires, played the majority of that match, and had the honor of defending Messi and friends, and one of the few losses that La Tri had during World Cup qualifying. So the first yellow card of the match goes to Jose Hurtado. So the late challenge and a bit of acting by the Saudi side, but nonetheless the referee from Canada buys the Oscar from Aldazari. So Aldazari with the Academy Award there on the foul. And the first yellow card goes to La Tri. So if you're keeping score at home, Hurtado, minutes 18, goes into the books. One more look at Jose Hurtado. Yeah, difficult to get a starting spot now on the Ecuadorian team. Usually Angelo Preciado plays in that position, but Becasese using this match to test some more players as the whole purpose of these friendlies. Good touch. And one back now by Purvis Estupiñán. Estupiñán playing all over the field, usually the majority on the left-hand side as a left winger. Had a good run with AC Milan this season. Felix Torres. Felix Torres had a goal in World Cup qualifying in the victory 2-1 against La Celeste on the second match day. Had a big goal on the corner kick. As La Tri came from behind in the victory against the side now coached by Marcelo Bielsa. And then Loco Bielsa again leaving off Luisito Suarez on the final World Cup roster. The touch for Angulo. Another sidelines by the Saudis. Hurtado right there. A wall of Ecuadorian defenders. A good read by Yeboah. Purvis Estupiñán. Felix Torres. Estupiñán. Nilson Angulo. A couple of those familiar faces among the starting 11 during World Cup qualifying. Felix Torres also, but saw less playing time after the emergence of Joel Ordóñez. Joel Ordóñez taking over mid-qualifying in the second round of the home-and-home games. You know, CONMEBOL, the qualifiers are so long, 2.5 years sometimes on the duration. And the first half of it saw Felix Torres as a starter, and then as time went on, Joel Ordóñez took that spot. But right now we're going to have our first water break from Harrison, New Jersey. But let's take a listen to the head coaches as they're going to devise some game plans for the second part of this first half. But still no score right now between Ecuador and Saudi Arabia. Here's a chance from earlier from John Yaboa. Tried from deep, but the keeper looks like he had the angle cut down as he tried a low percentage shot to get the upper corner. Becasese having a discussion with his players. Becasese, of course, taking over lots of criticism from the Ecuadorian media with his defensive style, but nonetheless, it's an Ecuadorian side that only gave up 5 goals during World Cup qualifying. 5 goals in 18 matches, so that by far the best defensive run during qualifying in the history of this nation. And the second time that they finished second place in World Cup qualifying in their history, finished in second place during the run to the Korea and Japan back in 2002. They finished with 30-plus points behind only Argentina during that World Cup qualifying run. Second place this time around, 29 points. 9 points behind La Albiceleste. They beat Argentina, of course, on match day 18. So it's hard to criticize a head coach that hasn't lost. Yes, they need to score more goals. Only had 14 during World Cup qualifying. But if you do the math during World Cup, 3 matches, 4 matches, if you play 5 matches and give up 2 goals and score 6, you're gonna be in a good spot. So that's the possibility with Ecuador if you play the averages. But of course, yeah, a lot of times with the African teams, Ivory Coast, difficult to do scouting on some of these African teams. They have some good quality players, you know. In the past, Ivory Coast producing, of course, Didier Drogba. So always speed with the African sides. Good in the air, physical, much like Ecuador. A fast team, a lot of tall players. Trying to show off that speed is Hurtado. Good ball control by the Saudis. Inside the 18, defended by Hurtado. Chased down by Angulo. Well done. Coming all the way back to play defense. But a bad pass. Played out by Felix Torres. Al-Kabari. Defended by Purvis Estupiñán. I feel like sometimes with Estupiñán also, he's just a great winger. And now with the Italian side, AC Milan, gets to play more offense and not worry about defense. With Ecuador, he's got to defend, though. So, and they like to play on the wings, but we'll see what Becasese does in the World Cup, because a lot of times when you have the availability of Hincapié, William Pacho, who weren't available today, of course, playing in that spectacular Champions League final won by PSG and PKs, and PSG back-to-back champs. William Pacho, now 2-time champ of the Champions League, something unheard of for an Ecuadorian player 30 years ago. Before, never had players in such great teams, but now they had 2 players play today. You know, Hincapié, a lot of experience, of course, coming up with Talleres de Córdoba. Was playing in the Argentine league before he even turned before his 20th birthday, and now a factor for the Gunners. So the back line is in a good spot for Ecuador, but up front's where the problem is. They have to score more goals. Nice read by the back line of Saudi Arabia, but tonight no Enter Valencia, and a lot of times when he doesn't play, they don't score a lot. But nonetheless, guys like Kendry Paez, 18 years of age, not starting today, but definitely getting a lot of experience with River Plate. Not always starting, but nonetheless practicing with those guys, practicing against Juan Fernando Quintero, practicing against Acuña, Molina. So much experience with that Argentine national team, practicing against Armani, guys who have played World Cups. Sometimes you don't have to play all those games to get all that experience. And then playing in the Sudamericana is going to help him. Here's Jordi Caicedo, another man of the Argentine First Division. Caicedo with 8 goals so far in the Argentine First Division, finished in 3rd place in the final goal count. Of course, the Argentine League won by Belgrano, defeating River Plate 3-2. So in Argentina, it's always a great players coming up, always new players. It's a country that's obviously known for soccer. It's a competitive country, always so much heart with the Argentines also. Everybody talks about the talent, but they have so much heart. Always played till minute 96, 97, and something to learn from these CONMEBOL sides. And so we'll see. It'll be exciting for La Tri to see what they can do in this World Cup. Felix Torres, one more time. Out wide. Nilson Angulo. Chased down by Angulo. Played out wide. Al-Amri. Altan Bukti asked for it. Sent forward by Al-Kabari. John Yaboa. Good read by the Saudis. Al-Dosari. Al-Dosari playing in another World Cup. And we'll see what he can do with his team against La Celeste on June the 15th. Going to be a tough match, tough opener. But it'll be interesting because, you know, Uruguay again without some key players. But they do have a, you might have heard of him, Federico Valverde of Real Madrid. Arguably one of the best midfielders in the world. So it's also a soccer factory is Uruguay. Saw Fernando Muslera now playing with Estudiantes de La Plata. So it's Uruguay, a lot of criticism also for Marcelo Bielsa, but they're in the World Cup again. So a lot of people are unhappy that CONMEBOL has 6 teams at this World Cup, but nonetheless, how many World Cups has CONMEBOL won? How many World Cups has the rest of the world won? So let you guys think about that one, because just 10 regions, 10 teams in CONMEBOL, but of those 10 teams, 3 of them have won World Cups. So almost half of the World Cups won in the history of the World Cup have come from CONMEBOL. So good ball control by Estupiñán. He charges forward. And the referee does blow the whistle, but it will be for the Arabian Falcons. But nonetheless, it'll be interesting to see at this World Cup also with 48 teams now. So 12 groups, that's a lot of teams. So will that increase the quality of the play of the World Cup? Definitely more chances for teams to advance, but the quality of the World Cup, we'll see. Nonetheless, a lot of us are anxious to see that the debut also of France, of Argentina, the match circle on the calendar also June the 27th, Portugal, Colombia, at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. So that's arguably one of the hottest tickets for this World Cup. Colombia going to be playing matches also in Guadalajara against Uzbekistan. So and Ecuador after the match against Ivory Coast going to be playing in Kansas City against Curacao. That'll be on the 20th. But the World Cup right around the corner. Of course, today, the last day of May. And then we'll have those 11 more days before the starts. The largest international dance in the world. One back by Saudi Arabia. Al Juwair, nice touch. Al-Khaibari, looking for the through pass. Ramirez stays on line and makes the boot save. Well done by Ramirez. Hockey style stop. And spider-like at the back to deny the back. To deny Al-Dosari. Al-Dosari, of course, with over 100 appearances with the Arabian Falcons and lurking at the back always. But Ramirez in a good spot, making up for one of the blunders from earlier on the giveaway at the back. So sometimes, if your keeper's nervous, it's going to show. The defense is gonna make mistakes. And Ramirez had a couple bad passes out of the back, but rebounding here. Here's one more look. Beautiful chip pass. Al-Dosari with the touch, and Ramirez with the boot-like save. Daniel Castillo, who plays in the Danish First Division. Jean Yaboa. Castillo. Castillo draws the foul. The first free kick of this windy evening in New Jersey goes to Latri. Johnny Boa gonna lie at this free kick. The Valencia man, a big factor during World Cup qualifying, came on the second half of World Cup qualifying and made a difference, of course, in the Copa America. The goal against Morocco, looking to add to some nice stats before the World Cup. Elects the pass, the header on target, and they score! A little samba for Latri, and they open the scoring. The lovely touch by Yeboah, and Ecuador on the board. The crowd erupts. A slow start for Latri, but one free kick is all it takes. So much size at the back. Here's one more look at the touch by Yeboah. And Jackson Porozo, the Tijuana man. The keeper elects to stay on his line, and he pays the price. So Jackson Porozo played for Boa Vista for 4 seasons, and here scoring with Latri. Okay, and the goal does stand. So after a bit of a confusion, the goal does stand. VAR looked at it. The referee from Quebec confirms the goal. Lausier. And the first real chance for Ecuador. And it's Paydert from Harrison, New Jersey. Yeah, there's a moment of confusion with the official, Pierre-Luc Lausier. But Lausier says the goal does stand. We'll see how the Arabian side reacts to this one. They had the majority of the ball position, have been the better side, really, on offense. And the first real touch on goal for Ecuador is magical for Jackson Porozo, the former Boa Vista man. Moises Ramirez sets up the 3-man wall. Angulo included in that wall. Looking to see if he can put it over this 3-man wall, a tall 3-man wall that includes Porozo. Porozo 6 feet 5 inches tall. Aldosari against Moises Ramirez. Less than 20 yards out. I think it'll be a direct shot on target. And it is, but well too high. Ecuador breathing a sigh of relief. Aldosari would like to have that one back. Ecuador on pursuit, chased down by Angulo, played out nicely by Alois, the long clearance, sent forward by Felix Torres. Jordi Carcedo, taken by John Yeboah. Nielsen Angulo. The soft touch. But one back by the Arabian Falcons. Chased down by Breakan. Stupian makes a mistake at the back. Chased down one more time by Breakan. Nielsen Angulo. Bushel asking for the pass. Instead it goes inside the box. Still in possession. Aldosari. You have the Saudi player down. So we approach the latter stage of this first stanza from Harrison, New Jersey. If you're just joining us, on a set piece, Ecuador getting the goal. The pass from Yaboa. And Jackson Porozo getting his first ever national team goal with Latri. Yeah, the collision at the back between Felix Torres and the Saudi attacker. What do we got here? Looks like we got an indirect kick from not too far out, so. Saudi Arabia looking to get the equalizer before the end of the first half. Altan Bukti. The touch for Al-Jouer. Good read by Porozo. Sent forward by Felix Torres. One back by the Saudis. Nice through pass. They line up the shot. Well wide this time. Al-Shamat unable to put it on target. One more look at the goal. From behind the net. And the header by Porozo. Stupian plays it long. Looking for Jordi Caicedo. Jordi Caicedo also playing in the entertaining match against Team Argentina in the quarterfinal of the 2024 Copa America. Had that chance, you know, in stoppage time, had the header and it sailed just wide. Came on late, and it'll be a goal a chance he'll remember for a long time, because it would have knocked out Argentina. And that was in stoppage time in the match played in Houston, and that was before the match went to PKs, because Ecuador got the late goal by Kevin Rodriguez, and then Caicedo had that chance. And it would have sent Argentina home, but nonetheless, cannot lament on the pass if you're Latri. Nielsen Angulo had a strong showing in the match also against the same Albiceleste side in Guayaquil. Angulo arrived barely yesterday in New Jersey to join his teammates after a nice run in the Belgian First Division. Good chance that Angulo will be among the starting 11 for Ecuador's first match against Ivory Coast. So much speed down the flanks. He can team up with Gonzalo Plata, the Flamengo man. Long, high arcing pass. And the hit by Darwin Wawa, blocked by the back line. You see the flying Ecuadorian Falcon in the stands. See if he can wear that uniform in the heat of Philadelphia when it gets more humid. It's going to be a factor, especially there. Kansas City, a lot of heat in the summer. Jordi Caicedo lines up the shot. Routine stop for Alois. The Saudis also having some trouble playing out the back, but here they go. Coming out cleanly this time. Mohamed Kano still in possession against Porozo. Lays it off. And this chance also goes by the wayside. Abu Al-Shamat tried the opposite foot. See if he can surprise the back line by Moises Ramirez. Ramirez, of course, playing now in the Greek First Division. We're going to have 4 minutes of stoppage time. And this is the home of the New York Red Bulls, once known as Red Bull Arena. Now we're talking about the old side in the 90s, the New York, New Jersey Metro Stars. That was a team in which Tony Meola played, former United States goalkeeper. Good ball control by Hurtado. Short pass, Anthony Valencia. A heavy foot on that through ball. That was intended for the likes of Jordi Caicedo and Darwin Wawa. Second minute of stoppage time. Sent long by Estupinyan. Altambukti. Out wide for Al Harbi. Daniel Castillo. Anthony Valencia has space. One back by Al Jouer. Mohamed Kano. Abu Al-Shamat. Mohamed Kano again. Abu Al-Shamat. The shove in the back by Angulo, but no whistle. Nice touch by Nilson Angulo. Angulo applies the brakes. Back for Estupinyan. One more look at the ball control by Estupinyan and the late challenge. Long pass looking for Jordi Caicedo. Jackson Porozo. Short touch for Felix Torres. Final 20 seconds of stoppage time. Moises Ramirez. Sent long by Ramirez. Played forward by Jordi Caicedo. The balloon clearance. And that final missile means the end of the first 45 from Harrison, New Jersey. Latry with a goal by Jackson Porozo, leaves Saudi Arabia 1-0. This chilly night for the month of May, at least in New Jersey. In front of a sea of yellow fans, sporting those yellow jerseys. And Saudi Arabia had the majority of the ball possession tonight, so far. A couple of chances, but everything they had, really, they had the one chance inside the box, two chances, I could say, inside the box. One nice stop by Moises Ramirez, but Saudi Arabia have arguably been the better side so far. Al-Dosari had that chance inside the box, and again, Ramirez making that stop. Abu Al-Shamat had a chance from just outside the 18. Ecuador with two chances, really, the goal and the shot by John Yaboa. So, but Saudi Arabia have generated the majority of the offensive attacks. It's a good look at Kendry Pais walking off the pitch, the River Plate man. We'll see if he comes in the second 45. Becasese with a number of new faces in the starting 11. Daniel Castillo, Darwin Wawa only in his second appearance so far, all time with La Tri. Porozo making his, had appeared before in other friendlies, but not too many. Anthony Valencia, a new face, really, not too much international exposure. And the back line has been average, I would say, without William Pacho, without Piero Hincapié. Both of them on club team duty due to the Champions League final. And the fans in attendance having a good time. This production of Integrated Sports Media. So happy you join us wherever you may be around the world. And the World Cup that will be starting on June the 11th. Of course, these two sides will be in action. Ecuador will be in action June the 14th against Ivory Coast. Saudi Arabia, June the 15th against La Celeste, led by Marcelo Bielsa and Federico Valverde. Here's a look at our first half highlights from Harrison, New Jersey, the home of the New York Red Bulls. Second meeting between these two sides. Ecuador, of course, facing Saudi Arabia 4 years ago, and they both fought to a 0-0 draw in Murcia, Spain. And Saudi Arabia, we talked about them having the majority of the ball possession. This first shot out on target, nowhere near the goal. Abu Al-Shamat with the opposite foot, and it showed. And then this chance, they cut it in, but the final finish by the front line on Al-Breakan, unable to put it on target. So 3 clear-cut chances for the Saudis, and then this one, Anthony Valencia, but not enough power. And an easy stop for Alawais. Great back heel, however, from Darwin Wawa. Not a bad showing thus far from the number 15 Wawa for Ecuador. This shot from distance from Jean Yaboa almost got that top corner. Great ball from Abu Al-Shamat at the back. The last line of defense, Moises Ramirez coming up with a save. And then on the free kick, so much venom on the cross, and the header by Jackson Porozo, the Tijuana man, putting La Tri out in front, much to the joy of the crowd, as he's able to beat it past, to put it past Alawais. Later, Abu Al-Shamat sends it over the bar. This chance from Nielsen Angulo, sending it in. Wawa trying to put it on target. One more time. Abu Al-Shamat, and well over the crossbar for the Arabian Kings. That would be the end of the first stanza from Harrison, New Jersey. But right now, Ecuador out in front. But nonetheless, La Tri, we'll see what happens in the second 45. We're going to take a quick break. Ecuador leading Saudi Arabia 1-0. Don't go away on this production of Integrated Sports Media.